One of the ways that we can know if our test is valid, just like, my bathroom scale and then I go to the doctor, is does my measurement system match another measurement system? So it's called criterion validity. If my scale and your scale say the same, we can feel pretty comfortable about those scales. So let's see what happens. This is New York. I went back to 2009. These are your state assessment results. Every other year, the fourth graders in New York, this is the English language arts. Every other year, your fourth graders take the national assessment, which is the congressionally mandated test. And their achievement is there. Didn't move, did it? But look at your New York scores. 80% almost, and then you introduce Common Core, and all of a sudden, we just looked at that with Pearson, it dropped because Common Core was much more rigorous. So the children weren't going to do as well. And if you remember, your Commissioner King predicted that that would happen before any child took a single test. He predicted that the scores would drop. Remember, they saw the raw scores before they set the cut scores. Now, we've been doing Common Core, and they're saying, oh, well, see, now they're doing better. In fact, the NAEP hasn't moved. If anything, it's gone down a little bit since you've been doing Common Core. That's fourth grade reading. What about fourth grade math? Same thing. The line is New York. The dots are the national assessment. Math under the new Common Core, people have been complaining that they don't teach it right. The national assessment is dropping. It is showing that, in fact, they don't teach it right. Now, the national assessment set their standards in 1992 and 1994, 1992 for reading and 1994 for math, and they haven't moved them since. You may or may not like where they set the standard, but it is a static bar. It didn't move. Whereas here in New York, your Department of Education has been manipulating the achievement cut scores every year. In 8th grade, it doesn't get any better. That's reading. And that's math. And you can see, oh, look, the state is saying, see, the math is going up. The NAEP is saying the math is going down. What is changing? The only thing that's changing is the definition of success in your state assessment. You're not the only state. Remember, No Child Left Behind said every state had to show 100% proficiency by the close of the 2013-2014 school year, but the state could define proficient however they wanted. So what did the states do? This brown bar is what you would have to do to be proficient if you took the NAEP. This is basic in the NAEP. That's a C-. This is where every state defined proficient on its state assessment, which is how you wind up with things like in Tennessee, the state reporting that 100% of the children were proficient, and when those same children took the NAEP, 26% of them passed. Not one single state defined proficient at the achievement level that the NAEP used. Only 8 defined proficient at the achievement level the NAEP would call basic, and 42 states defined achievement proficient at a level that the NAEP would call failing. Now, does that mean the states were evil? No. If we told every doctor in the country, all of your patients have to have the same blood pressure, and if they don't meet the proficient level on their blood pressure, you will lose your medical license. But you can set that blood pressure level wherever you want. Where would the doctors put it? At 340 over 250, because then everybody would meet it. It's impossible to mandate achievement. It's impossible to have 100% proficiency. The federal government mandated an impossibility, and the states, faced with that, manipulated the data to meet the federal levels to get the money. Unfortunately, reality didn't move. And by 2010, nearly 60% of our college freshmen needed to be remediated when they got to college. Those little Johnnies were coming out of high school, congratulations, you're proficient. But if you only know 33% of Algebra 1, you really aren't ready for calculus. So when they got to college where the bar didn't move, a problem arose. So in response to that, we've had a number of issues, and Common Core was born. And now we have the new Every Student Succeeds Act, which you're hearing is returning control to the state and getting rid of Common Core. This is the language right out of the new Every Student Succeeds Act. You remember